From Gumball increasing his animation budget to an anime fight in the Dragon Ball Z art style, today we're gonna be looking at every time the wonderfully weird world of Gumball has changed its animation style. Starting in the episode The Assistant, in which Nicole finds a new friend, but the only problem is that this new friend is an AI that wants her to completely abandon her family. However, Nicole does not see the red flags that this robot is putting up, and decides to buy a virtual reality headset. The world that Nicole went to after she put on the headset was done in a completely different animation style. They use this vibrant, colorful hyperpunk anime style, very similar to how the singer Hatsume Miku is animated. Next, we have The Distance. In this episode, the family are concerned about how close Gumball and Darwin are getting, so Nicole puts them in separate rooms, and Gumball is not taking it very well. They try everything they can to speak to each other, but it doesn't work. One of the ways they try this is by talking together in a chat room, and we see that the chat room is actually a Club Penguin ripoff, and we can even see Gumball and Darwin animated in the Club Penguin art style, with them being pandas for some reason. Next, we have The Thing. In this episode, Richard needs to figure out what the thing is that Nicole wants from him. He tries to get Nicole to give him a hint, but she is not having it and straight up crashes out. She gets so angry and screams so hard that she changes animation style. This is actually something the animators would do a lot in the previous seasons whenever Nicole got mad. Now we have The Traffic, and in this one, the family are going to Daisyland to fulfill one of Anais's biggest wishes, but the car ride there is absolutely nightmarish, with almost everything going wrong, and them even being stopped by the cops. Anais tells them it's fine and that she's okay and not going, but the rest of her family will not let that happen and get purple flame aura around them, similar to the characters in Jojo's Bizarre Adventures. The animation style also changes to something similar to Jojo's. Now we have The Boring. In this episode, Gumball and Darwin make Tina extremely mad, and they need to prepare for a fight. Luckily, Molly is here, and her stories are so boring, time literally stops, giving them all the time they need to train for the fight. After Gumball and Darwin have finished their training montage, they are about to hit Tina with a lightning bolt of death. And as they do the move, the animation style changes to a more comic book-esque style. However, after all the hype, and even the animation changing, the lightning bolt was pitiful and useless. The entrance is next, and in this episode, Gumball and Darwin want to make a grand entrance into Tobias's house party. When getting prepared, they find this new cologne, and when they spray it, they become absolutely insane with this massive goofy grin. They then try a bunch of different outfits, similar to how different celebrities dress during the Met Gala, and this scene, along with all the other scenes after they use the cologne, are animated differently. The letter is next. In this episode, Darwin writes Carrie a love letter, but he discovers that Carrie absolutely hates love letters. He takes the letter back, but then accidentally gives it to Hector. Darwin gets really worried, but Hector gives the note back. But unfortunately for Darwin, it was not the original note, and Carrie finds out, thinking that he's cheating on her with Hector. She then turns into multiple different demonic forms, with different art styles, and specifically in the last form, she took a very similar animation style to one of the bosses in Cuphead. The Gourmet is up next. In this episode, Gumball absolutely needs Masami's gourmet mac and cheese. So in order to do this, he spends time at her house. Masami's mom, Yuki, then trains Gumball to become worthy of having the mac and cheese. But Nicole isn't having any of this, and she goes into the Yoshida's house. When she sees Yuki at the front door, they're about to have an anime fight, with the animation style changing to fit this. If you remember the previous time Yuki and Nicole were in an episode, they also had a big anime fight scene, with a different animation style. Next, we have the pool. In this episode, the boys are absolutely melting, and really want to go into Mr. Robinson's pool. They ask him multiple times to let them use their pool, but he keeps denying them. But eventually, they decide to ask Mrs. Robinson, who initially seems okay with it, but under one condition. They have to wear concrete shoes. When she gives them the shoes, she gives an extremely evil grin, with the animation style changing to become more dark and realistic. The final episode of season 7 we're gonna look at is the Amadean. In this episode, Penny wants Gumball to join her family function. The The only issue being that her family is completely crazy, with them all having these strange rituals and not accepting Penny being out of her shell. Eventually, they put a bag over Gumball's head and basically kidnap him. The animation of this POV shot with the bag on Gumball's head is extremely realistic for some reason. Maybe because it looks more intense? The first episode of season 8 we're going to be looking at is the Unfollow. In this episode, Gumball and Darwin's biggest fan Sarah stops caring about them. They both get really upset by this and try everything they can to get Sarah's affection back. They first try making their humor more highbrow. And what's more highbrow than Skibidi toilet? So they turn into Skibidi toilets, even moving around like them. This doesn't work, so they decide to increase their animation budget, which makes their animations look like an old Disney cartoon. Next is the promposal. In this episode, Gumball is expecting a massive prom invitation from Penny, but she has absolutely no idea what to do. Gumball's expectation has been growing and growing, so Penny gets worried and tries avoiding Gumball. She even wears a meatloaf costume at lunch, so she doesn't have to confront him. This meatloaf costume has a really realistic animation style for some reason. Now we have the synthesis. In this episode, we have Nicole and Yuki again, trying to get the respect of their daughters. They realize that the only thing they can do to impress them is to literally fuse and become Nikoshita. They then try and completely fail to impress the class, causing Masami and Anna Yeast to fuse and fight Nikoshita. The fusion scenes and the fight scene are all done in the Dragon Ball Z animation style. The labels are next. In this episode, Gumball and Darwin get a new guidance counselor after Mr. Small gets fired. The new counselor gives all the students one-word descriptions of themselves, which really messes up their minds. Eventually, Gumball and Darwin get tired of this, so they then try to stop the new guidance counselor. Darwin gives Gumball all the labels, which gives him new powers, and when he gets in his new form, the animation style turns to the style of Sailor Moon. Now we have the cheap miss. In this episode, Christmas gets canceled because everything is too expensive, so Gumball and Darwin try their best to bring it back. They try everything in their power, but eventually give up until a little sock kid comes and tells them how much of a great job they're doing. This motivates them to deliver more presents, which they get from the Awesome Store. But then Donut Cop starts chasing after them. Gumball starts throwing all the presents at his car, till eventually one turns the car into Jake from Adventure Time, with the animation looking the exact same that it did in the show. Next, we have the score. In this episode, Gumball and Darwin try to help Ocho find anger management, which goes about as well as you might expect. They wonder why Ocho is so full of rage, so Ocho shows them how he has to live, and it's literally a video game. But instead of having to fight off Koopas or Goombas, he has to fight off late bills and bad grades. Gumball and Darwin realize how bad Ocho's life is, so they decide to help him, and we get to see them montaging through many different games. All of the games have an 8-bit animation style, with some of the games actually being copies of real-life games like Bomberman. The Mister is next, and in this episode, Idaho grows a little sprout, which means in his culture that he is now a man. Throughout the course of this episode, we get to see Idaho do more and more adult things. However, each of them fails spectacularly, and his animation getting a bit more textured and realistic. Finally, we have the Necroprancer. In this episode, we see Darwin try to give Carrie a human body, because Gumball can't stand Carrie using his. When we first see Carrie in this episode, we see her in this massive monster-like form, very similar to her final form in the letter. And similar to that episode, she's animated like a boss in Cuphead. Well, those are all the times that Gumball has changed its animation style in the new series. If you guys liked the video, make sure to subscribe. We are so close to 300K.